Gemini, welcome to Carol's Universe, Tarot Readings from the Heart. So we're going to do your week ahead reading. It's the 30th to the 4th of April, 30th of March through to the 4th of April 2020. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. It's a really trying time for the world. It really, really is. It's a very scary time. I generally find myself getting a little bit anxious in the evening time when I've finished with the clients for the day and I'm sort of sitting down edging my decks or doing whatever I'm doing, and then my mind sometimes runs on things and I'm like, okay. But then, you know, what can you do? You just got to try and do the best and follow the guidelines that the government and stuff are laying out for you, you know, the medical people and stuff. So yeah, we just have to see what happens really, but it's scary. I wanted to do something a bit different with the reading this week. We're only going to do a 10-card reading using the This Might Hurt tarot, and I haven't chosen that tarot for any kind of pun or anything like that. It's just that it's a nice, clear, plain deck which I really enjoy using, and the messages through the cards are very clear. So I really, in light of what's happening, I really just wanted to give a message to each of the signs from the universe for what they're saying to you, because a lot of people are very anxious about this situation. It's not nice and it is scaring everybody. The majority of people are scared, and I think that people who aren't scared at all, great, but as long as you're not scared and you're being kind of, you know, careful and responsible at the same time. So we're going to use a This Might Hurt tarot for that, and then we're also going to use Gemini, the Psychic Tarot of the Heart, or for the Heart, from John Holland as well. So let's get shuffling, guys. All right then, we've got the cards down, Gemini. Let's have a look at the message from the universe this week. What do you need to be focusing on? Or you see, they've got the Five of Wands that shows up first, and the Five of Wands is all about it's a card that represents worries. You get certain cards within the deck that will indicate somebody who's worried and fearful and that type of thing. Cards like the Moon, the Eight of Swords, the Five of Wands, those types of cards all indicate somebody who may be very, very worried. We've also got, if you notice on the Five of Wands, it's like, you know, fighting dogs. And if you notice what's going on at the moment, people are kind of fighting to get their food in. You know, they're fighting for, it feels like they're fighting for survival in a way, because you can't, over in the UK, for anybody who's from another part of the world watching this, other than being from the UK, you'll notice that in the UK, if you know anything about us at all, that, you know, you go online to do your shopping. Usually I would do online shopping, so usually I would get my shopping delivered from the delivery man. I don't drive, so, you know, it's easier, and where I live is kind of, it's not a backwater or anything, it's a beautiful place that I live in. Beautiful area, but the buses and the public transport runs every hour, and you know, taxis, you know, I don't mind taking them, but you know, the money still builds up. You know, you could easily, if you were to go out every day, spend £20 on a taxi there to wherever you were going and home, which adds up to about £150 a week to travel. So I choose to get my food online, so I can't get any online shopping because all the slots are taken up, fair enough. And also even click and collect, where I could get my family to collect my shopping for me, we can't do that either. There's no slots available there, so people are kind of fighting. There's a little bit of a challenge here when it comes to getting stuff in, like food shopping and that type of thing. You've got I mean, some of you guys are worried about Five of Wands energy. Some of you guys are worried about food, money, resources, because coins are money and their food and their resources. And also some of you guys are, there's a fight, you know, there's facing challenges concerning, you know, resources, getting food, you know, getting you know, and also the, you know, the coins are the right type of food as well. They're organic food, they're good foods, that type of thing. So some of you guys are facing challenges, I guess, in getting, you know, getting resources and things like that with the Five of Wands and Queen of Coins. But also you're worried about your jobs. Queen of Coins is your work. You're worried, some of you guys, you're feeling anxious about your jobs, your money, your home is the Queen of Coins. Queen of Coins can be a house, a home. You know, worried about food, getting food in, resources like hand sanitizer. Remember that when you look at coins, Gemini, they're anything. It's anything that's material. It's anything that you touch. This is a pentacle. That's a pentacle. This is a pentacle. You know, my top is a pentacle. It's you know, it's a material thing. Yeah. So there's worries and fears around the material here with the Queen of Coins energy showing there. And some of you guys may be facing a really important decision, I think, with the Judgment energy this week potentially. Six of Coins, just in terms of who you're going to give to as well. potentially here, or who you're going to help, for example, because there are worries about, and it's interesting because this week could also be, and it's interesting because the judgment energy is all about facing some major decisions here, and the Six of Coins is all about giving and receiving. Okay, so and you know, for some of you guys, I don't know whether you're facing a decision with adjusted judgment energy in terms of who you're going to give to or who you're going to help. For example, with the Six of Coins energy, because the Six of Coins, if you look here in the Six of Coins, this person is dispersing food or help. So this may be you doing this, because it just feels like you're facing a little bit of a challenge here concerning resources with the Queen of Coins energy. But I've got a decision, facing a decision. There's a big decision that needs to be made in terms of the Six of Coins energy. Who gives and who gets? So this may not even be you. It might just be saying that here, some of you guys are maybe facing a little bit of a difficulty this week in terms of kind of your resources, so getting food in, that type of thing. But this judgment and the Six of Coins may be that, you know, unfortunately, you know, the supermarkets and, the people who kind of sell all the goods that we need are having to make some very important decision in terms of who gets things. So things like, for example, the vulnerable will come first. For anyone who's in America watching this, we have people like, we have shops called like Marks and Spencer's, Tesco's, Sainsbury's in the UK. Those are some of our very top supermarkets. Waitrose is another one of our supermarkets. Now, what's happening in those supermarkets is that for the online shopping, they're trying to make sure that the vulnerable, and it's only fair, if somebody's in a wheelchair, they can't walk, they're elderly, they can't get out, then of course they should have the priority of having food delivered first. Absolutely, I really believe in that. And even kind of, shopping times, now in the UK online, it's really weird how everything's just changed, but it's incredible, the change, and how but we are resilient as a race, the human races, and we can adapt to anything. But, people now on online shopping, basically they send around emails from all of these stores saying, look, between the times of 8 and 9 or 9 and 10, this is only for the elderly to come in, or this is for the NHS workers, key workers to come in. Between these times, this is, and that's right. We've got people on the front line working here, putting their lives at risk every single bloody day. Sorry, I get so emotional when I think about it. I really do. I'm really proud to be a taxpayer, and I'm really proud to really stand by my country. Sorry, I'm just getting really emotional now. I'm really proud to be that. I really am, because these people, they should be prioritised. All right, so some of you guys may be facing a little bit of worry over, getting those resources, because the companies, the people who are selling, especially food and, all of those daily commodities that we would usually buy that would be so easily in the past to come by, with the judgment card, it's really saying they're going to have to make a choice. They're going to have to kind of prioritise who gets first. Can you see the hands? Who receives first? Okay. And, the Seven of Wands energy, they're facing, this is them. They're facing a bit of a battle here. They're facing a challenge, because you see, when you do tarot, you look at the similarities between the cards. So what is the similarity between the Seven of Wands and the Six of Coins? Well, it's very easy. The Seven of Wands people are all asking. See, they're demanding. This is demands, all right? Because they're in high demand. So it's telling you here, and these are these people demanding. So both cards indicate people making demands. So what you've got here is that you may be facing, for some of you guys, problems. I'm not going to lie on the reading. You may be this week facing problems in getting resources in. Queen of Coins energy, food, toilet rolls, tissues, whatever it is that you need. Okay, you may face a challenge in that. There's competition for that as well. This is competition. There's competition for those things, because the supermarkets, the powers that be, judgment, have to make a fair and rational judgment on who receives first, because they are, everything is in very high demand with that Seven of Wands. They're facing high demand. That's what they are, with this Seven of Wands energy showing there. Family. Six of Cups is usually about family. So yeah, it's a card about the past, it is, but also it's about close family relationships with the Six of Cups energy here. Okay, some of you guys, you've got the Fool energy here, so maybe you should take a leap of faith and ask family for help, especially if it's difficult getting certain resources in. Gemini, this fool just takes a risk. So maybe some of you guys should take a little bit of a leap of faith and ask close family members, have you got enough to spare on this, or have you got enough to spare on that? Especially if it's tricky going out and getting shopping, or especially if it's tricky getting your shopping this week, because you know there's a high demand from everyone to get what they need, and the supermarkets have to prioritize on who's getting what. What else have we got here? The Three of Wands. Three of Wands can be longing, or there's a weight here. The Three of Cups. So the Three of Cups is happiness, joy, but it's also groups. Let's have a look. Turning back on groups though as well. All right, this is strength. So strength for me, can you see? This is like, what's the word that I often use for strength? Can you see coaxing, stroking in groups, turning the back on that as well? To me, that looks like this is a week to make sure that you're still upholding the social distancing, because the Three of Wands has got its back turned to the group here. So this is a week also to carry on observing the social distancing and, you know, closeness, because the Strength card, if you see here, the woman has the lion. So there's a very close connection on the Strength card. This is, oh, I can't even remember. There's a word that I will always use with strength. Well, not always. Sometimes I use it, but I don't remember the word that I often use for this card. But this is a week for observing those things, because she has her back turned to the Three of Cups. That's a gathering here. People getting close gatherings, because the Strength card can also mean people are close, and that's a gathering. So gatherings, close gatherings, turn your back on close gatherings as well. And also another thing is that, you know, I don't know whether they're doing it in other parts of the world, but certainly here, what they've put in place, I think a lot of this is probably to do with getting your food in and that type of thing this week for some of you guys. Another thing is that what they've put into place is this kind of, is it 2 meter distance or something like that, whereby it's 1 in, 1 out of the supermarkets, and a lot of them as well, 1 in, 1 out. But people are always, you know, queuing around the block and all sorts. So maybe you want to kind of, you know, distance yourself away from kind of getting too close to groups as well. Too close with the Strength card to groups as well, with the Three of Cups energy showing there. All right. You know, it may be a while before we can celebrate that we've overcome this thing as well. It may be a little bit of time. Let's get this reading again. I think the universe wants you to know, Gemini, that this week there is still competition for goods, because your pentacle cards represent goods. So there's still this competition for goods showing on here, because the supermarkets, the powers that be, have to make decisions, and they're trying to make the fairest decisions that they can. You know, they've got to lay the law down. There may also be a law put in place, potentially, about who gets what, because of high demand. Seven of Wands energy showing there. But also with the Judgment card, the powers that be have the power to make the decisions on, you know, Six of Coins, to prioritise who gets what. Do you see what I mean? Because if you think about the Six of Coins, usually on the Six of Coins, now on this particular deck, if you look here, see, the coin is going round like this. But usually on the Six of Coins, can you see how the balance lies here, but not there? So sometimes the Six of Coins is prioritising, and it's giving to one person over another. So there are challenges in receiving, getting goods, Queen of Coins energy, because the powers that be have to prioritise on who gets what, due to high demand with the Seven of Wands energy showing here. Some of you guys, you know, don't be ashamed to ask family for help if you can. To get family to maybe, if you've got family that can do this, or close friends with that Six of Cups, don't be afraid with the Fool energy. Remember, the Fool as a character, Gemini, is not afraid. He's got all of the bolshiness. He's not afraid to ask. He's not ashamed. He's not afraid. He's just kind of, oh, whatever, I'll give it a go. So don't be afraid with that Fool to ask family or close friends for some form of help, okay? Because, you know, this is a week probably whereby they're trying to distance people from getting too close. This is groups coming together, getting too close to groups. Also, this is a week for focusing on kind of just distancing yourself, that, you know, continuing the whole social distancing thing as well. It may be a while before we can celebrate and maybe overcome this thing too. I just feel that the message for Gemini this week, as mundane and as boring and as, you know, you guys already know about all this stuff, so you probably think, well, what are you telling us for? We already know about it. But it's what I feel that is coming through in the cards. I think it's what's coming through. She has her back turned to that Three of Cups and the Strength card. To me, this is a strong friendship. strong connections, for example, showing here. All right, so this person has its back turned to these two cards, you know, so this is a week for focusing on keeping your distance from, you know, close family meetups or close gatherings or getting too close with people or gatherings and that. I think everybody's been doing that anyway, but this may just fall upon ears upon, you know, with somebody that's not necessarily been doing that. But don't be afraid to ask family for help, you know, because, you know, it's going to get tougher, I think, in terms of getting goods and things like that, you know. Let's have a quick look at what the spiritual advice is for Gemini this week. In 2 cards, what is the spiritual advice you have for Gemini on this situation this week? What is the spiritual advice you have for Gemini this week? 2 cards. So the spiritual advice is you need to trust. It's funny you've got the Fool there. In this particular deck, there's this card. The ones that are bordered in black are the major arcanas. You need to trust. Okay. You need to trust. Win or lose, you need to trust. So win or lose, you need to trust. I mean, the 5 of Swords is this 5 card here. But in this version, it's win or lose. You've just got to trust. So in other words, it says you've got no choice really but to trust. Win or lose, whether we win, whether we lose this fight, you've just got to trust that things are going to be okay. And I think that, you know, the more that I've done these types of readings just for this week for the various signs, the more it just feels like the universe is saying that we've just got to trust through all of those spiritual, you know, advice cards. Really, the universe is just saying you've just got to trust. What else do we have? What else do we have? You know, some people are kind of like, oh man, you know, I've just set up a business and now I can't trade. What am I going to do? You know, this has come along and it's completely like, excuse me, floored me. And what am I going to do? How am I going to trade? Some people are like that. And some people are kind of like, well, what's going to happen? You know, I've lost my job, or I'm not earning any money and I'm going to be getting less money through the government. There's a lot of doubt because there's a lot of fear, anxiety, and a lot of kind of lack of clarity as well going on in this time. And during times of, you know, fogginess, and during times when we don't really know what's ahead and we don't know what's around the corner, it is, I think, human nature a lot of the time to feel like, oh my goodness, you know, I'm powerless. You know, we've been kind of led to the slaughter. A lot of us don't trust our governments. We don't trust what they're telling us, that type of thing. But I think amidst everything, the only thing that you can really hold on to is the trust that we're going to get through this. Win or lose, you've got no choice. This is almost like saying this is blind faith. It's all about just blind faith. What else can you do? You know, you can't, if you don't trust, and if you kind of go to that place whereby it's just going to get worse, like thinking negatively about stuff, what is that going to do? It's probably not going to do a lot, is it? It's just going to make us more anxious, more depressed. So all we've got to do, this is blind faith, because blind faith is just trusting without knowing what the outcome is. So you could either win or lose, but you're going to trust at the same time. So really, this is a week for blind faith. You know, you've got to trust, win or lose, just trust. That's all we have at the moment. All right, my darlings, that is your reading for the week. I'd like to say thanks ever so much for joining me on Carol's Universe. Keep safe, guys, seriously. I just think you should just... I did a reading on this, actually. I did an hours-long reading. I was going to put it up, and then I asked... My intuition told me to ask the universe what it thought, and he said, don't put it up. He said, don't put the reading up. So I won't put that reading up on this subject matter that I did for everyone to look at. But, yeah, keep safe and just, you know, follow what your government is telling you to do. Some of you guys are probably like, oh, I don't believe in blah, blah, blah. But, you know, the main thing I think for all of us to do is to keep this social distancing thing and see how that goes. And to limit your, you know, your trips to shops and things like that, as they've been kind of advising us to do. Just to keep close to your loved ones, and just to, you know, we've got this time where we're having to, I mean, I've always worked from home practically, so I'm used to it. A lot of people aren't. If you've got a garden, sit out in the garden, I guess. Or go for a short walk around the block or something like that. You know, find a good book to read, or just indulge in something that you haven't done before. What I'm doing right now is I'm devising a tarot deck anyway. Me and my twin sister, with a Polish artist, which is looking really good. And I'm also doing a lot more reading. I've just bought some more Kindle tarot books, some phenomenal stuff. I've just, what have I done? I've also purchased Disney Plus. It's really good. It's got loads of Marvel films on there. Yeah, another thing to do, I think, is that really helps as well, Gems, is watch uplifting stuff. I watch loads of, what uplifts me and makes me feel good is when I watch lots of kind of superhero movies. Like my favourite movie is Avengers Endgame. I love that film. The ending when they, the big battle. I love that. I love seeing good triumph over evil. That's what I love to see. It really uplifts me. It makes me feel good. Play music. I was playing some really good music last night. It made me feel so happy. So just do things that kind of make you feel really good and make you feel really, really happy, and all we can do is just trust, whether we win or lose, just trust. And part of that trust is just kind of enjoying the life that you have, that we were having now to adapt to, and just, doing things that make you happy. Whether it's, I'm also doing lots of kind of edging of decks and things like that. I cut down decks at the moment. I was learning it on YouTube from a certain tarot reader. So this is one of the decks. This is one of my giant decks. It's the Giant Right Away. I cut that down so it's just kind of like in a border, and then I allow, like, this is so far I've edged that one. I'm edging it in black and stuff. I've bought loads of kind of really expensive paint markers and stuff, so I'm really enjoying doing all of this stuff at the moment. Just do stuff that feeds the soul. That's what we got to do. Try and limit the amount of information you're looking at, especially with me. I can get prone to anxiety if I've got too much bad news going on around me. So I try and limit the amount of information I'm looking at on this thing, and I'm trying more to kind of just do the things that I love that make me feel really good. All right, have a great week. Keep safe, my darlings. I love you very much, and take care. Speak soon. Bye.